Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to create a card for a very special event. Altenew is celebrating a 7th anniversary. They're celebrating it with a huge blog hop. There's lots of deals and giveaways, lots of sponsors, so I encourage you guys to join in the fun. I'll leave the Altenew blog down below if you want to start at the beginning of the blog hop, and then I'll also leave my blog if you want to check out some of the close-up pictures. The blog hop listings are on my blog also. So this is the Blissful Blossom stamp set, and what I love about Altenew's stamp set is they go that extra step and create a brochure for each of the stamp sets. So there's lots of inspiration here. There's a color guides if you have Altenew inks. And this set here happens to be a layering stamp set. It comes in sold individually or in a bundle. I actually have the bundle, but I thought we'd create a fun just because card. In hindsight, I thought maybe we should have created a birthday card because it is a birthday celebration, but I think this card would be nice for birthday too. We are going to add some white cardstock to the mini misty here, and then we are going to take, there's 2 single flowers, and then there's a few little bouquets in here, but I just want to stamp the flowers. Now Altenew has some fantastic inks, and I don't have a very big collection. So to color my flowers today, we're going to use my Distress Oxide inks. They come in, I have some bright bold colors, and I thought we'd go with some orangey bluesy colors. We're going to ink up the larger flower with tumbled glass, and the smaller flower we're going to ink up with dried marigold. It's very soft orange. We're going to stamp this. Now I positioned my florals kind of spaced apart only because I have a tendency to hit my ink pads on the other image, and I didn't want orange on the blue, so I spaced them out like this. Plus I can always flip my panel around to create a couple more. Easy peasy. We'll flip this around, stamp a few more times. Again, for the larger flower we're using tumbled glass, and then the smaller flower we're going to use dried marigold. And I love orange and blue together. I think it's a bright and cheery color. This looks great. We're going to ink it up a few times just to get a more solid impression, and then I'm going to take another piece of white cardstock, and then we're going to repeat the process. So we'll take this out. These flowers are actually 2 layers, so there is a second layer, a detail layer, which is really nice, and they're easy to line up. Now instead of going with the same colors on the same flowers, we're going to flip-flop it. So the large flower this time will have the dried marigold ink, and the smaller flower we're going to go with the tumbled glass. This way we have a little variety of flowers. Now there are flower centers for these, but I'm not going to use them. I went ahead and added the second layer. We're going to flip our panel over. Second layer, the blue is Salty Ocean, and the orange is Ripe Persimmon. And it just adds a real pretty detail to your flower, adding a little bit more depth to them. Okay, so flowers are done. We have 2 sets of each, and I'm going to go ahead and take the leaf flourish in here. You can see how pretty the flowers are in here. Now this leaf flourish has that swirl, and then it also has a 2-leaf image and a single leaf image. The die will actually cut out the swirl on its own and then the leaves on their own, so it makes it really nice. I'm using shabby shutters for the base of my leaves. This also has a second layer to it. The second layer, we're just going to line it up, and I'm going to use a olivey green ink. This is peeled paint for our second layer. And again, the packaging that your stamps come in have a key point guide on how to line these up, and it makes it super easy. Sometimes I do have, and I don't know if you guys can hear the train, but sometimes I have trouble lining them up, and the key point areas make it very helpful. Okay, images are all set. One of my leaf flourishes, I didn't get my paper in that corner, so we're not going to use that one. It kind of offset a little bit. But I'll take the coordinating dies and die cut out all my flowers and all my leaves, and we are good to go. I don't think we're going to use all of them, but it's nice to have extras just in case. Okay, for my sentiment, I'm going to be using, I've used this before, I love this die. It creates a sentiment inside a circle, and it's called the Circle Greetings Hugs die. we're going to take this and die cut this out on white cardstock. The panel size that I'm using is 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it will leave me just a slight border around my card base. And you can see I cut it all the way to the edge just for a little bit of difference here. Now for my background, I'm bringing in some teal colored cardstock. This is just cardstock that I've had in my stash. I am going to trim this down to a smaller panel that will fit behind my hugs. We are going to do a little bit of stenciling behind the hugs, and so we don't need that big of a panel. And then my other panel, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, we're going to take that and go ahead and place this on our card base. Just to have a blue background instead of a white. Traditionally I like to go white, but sometimes it's good to shake things up a bit. I'll just add adhesive and place this on the top. And of course, if you have a full sheet of colored cardstock, you could use that. But sometimes panels are nice because you save your colored cardstock. We're going to set that aside and bring in a stencil. This is the narrow brick stencil. This is fairly new over at the Altenew SHOP. I'm going to bring in my craft mat. And instead of using some oxide inks to color in our background, I thought we would add a little texture with some of my texture paste. I originally was going to go vertical here or horizontal, and I thought let's shake it up and go diagonal with our brick stencil. I already have pixie spray behind it, so it's tacked down really good. I'm going to go ahead and take my spatula and open up my texture paste, and we're going to go ahead and spread that all over our stencil. I think I needed to invest in a new jar. I think Altenew might have some of this. I'm not quite sure. If they do, I'll link it down below. But I'm just spreading the frosting. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Just spreading the texture paste over the stencil and filling in any open areas. I'm not worried about the right side. I really actually wanted a place where I could pick it up. The right side's going to be covered anyway. But I think this looks good. We're going to add just a little bit more, evening out that texture paste, and then we are good to go. The craft mat that I'm using is actually Altenew's craft mat. It's very nice, and it picks up the texture paste very easily. I'm going to wash my stencil with warm soapy water, and I'm going to take my finger and go along the edges here just so we don't have some crookedy edges. We'll set that aside to dry, and I'm actually going to scoop up the rest of my texture paste, and then the craft mat makes it easy, but we'll put that back in there. Okay, now we're going to arrange some flowers around our hugs. I think we're going to go pretty basic with them. There's the little swirlies, and we're not going to add foam adhesive behind those. We're going to use our tape runner to adhere those. And I'm just kind of figuring out my placement. I think it has a nice curve to it to where we can go around the curve of the circle, and I think that's going to work out great. I think that's going to work out really good. I did end up just using 3 of the flowers and then adding some leaves to the top and bottom. And once I'm happy with the placement, we can go ahead and finish up our project. Now my texture paste is dry, and I did add foam adhesive behind my panel, my hugs panel. I'm going to go ahead and add my panel right on top of my brick background here, lining up that left side. And then as I thought about it, I'm going to go back to my white card base. I think the flowers I really want to pop on this card, and I think with the blue it kind of since it wasn't the same colors as my flowers, it just was throwing things off. So we're going to just put it on the white card base. The leftover flowers, you can decorate the inside, of course, and then I am going to embellish the front of my card and the flower centers with some gems. Now the flower centers, there's a stamped image that you could stamp your flower image, but I thought we would replace that with a little bit of sparkle, so I used some gems that I've had in my stash. I'm going to go ahead and add one more orange flower to that top corner there. I'm going to trim off the overhanging piece. It's just not balancing right for me, so sometimes if you do it afterwards, it's going to work out a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and grab my gems and put a dot of glue in the center of that flower as well. And then we have a little sparkle for this one. After we have this done, I'm going to just play around with the placement a little more. You know, I removed the leaves, and the orange flower that I added was all the way up to the side of the left side of the card base, and I wanted it up to the panel that we decorated out our hugs with. So I scooted everything over, and then I thought we'd add just a little bit more sparkle for a little more balance. But that is my project today. I really encourage you guys to head on over to the Altenew blog. Oh my gosh, there is loads of inspiration, loads of sponsors, and loads of giveaways, and then there are some great deals happening, and I'm super excited to be part of the Altenew 7th anniversary blog hub. So check it out, guys. Links are down below. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.